So now, before we get to tying, we're going to talk about the contest for this week. I'm going to start off showing you guys some materials for the fly that we're going to be tying next week. So if you like to tie along during the show, this will give you a clue as to what we're going to be tying along during the show. And if you think you can guess what the fly is, tell us what you think it is in the comments, and see if you can win the prize for next week, which is going to be another Umpqua fly box. It's the tiny 12 box. And we're going to throw in some of the Klinkhamers that we tied this week inside that box. So again, Keisha, congratulations for being our winner for this week's contest. We're going to send you one of these Umpqua LT standard fly boxes. And here we go. So some of the materials we're going to be using for next week's fly, if you can guess what it might be, are going to be Simperfly tying wire. And this is copper, 0.2 millimeters. We have some Simperfly wax thread in orange, A-dot. We've got some Select Cow Elk right here, medium dime. We have a beautiful saddle in dark brown dun. We've got some hooks over here. We're going to be using freshwater 501s and some dubbing from Nature Spirit right here. So if you can think of what that fly might be, go ahead and give us a guess in the comments, see if you can get it right and win a prize for next week. So let's get to tying, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katie and Truman. You're right. I was out of focus, but hopefully we got it figured out now. So congratulations to Mama Angler. And I'm going to get our Instagram going now. Congratulations, Keisha, on the winner. Just shoot us your address and we will get it out in the mail to you. And next week, kind of that box. It's not a super fancy box, but we've got a bunch of these Umpqua, what they're called, tiny 12 boxes. And this is what we keep our dries in. I've got one that's full with sulfurs, one that's full with blooming olives. And I just really like this. I like this box quite a bit. So I've got the two that I tied yesterday, and this one's going to go in there. Then we'll throw the ones that we tie tonight, and we'll at least have half a dozen in there for you guys. So it's pretty darn cool. And hey, Michael and Jeff Rowley, good to see you hopping on here. So the fly, the Klinkhamer is a really cool fly, and it's one that a variation of. What's up, Chris? It's a very good. It's a variation of one that Katie caught her personal best brown on about a couple years ago on the South Holston River, and she caught it on a size 16, I believe, and with that little red butt. Hey, Patrick, that little red butt. I mean, it was awesome. It was like one of those awesome times where you've got a nice hatch going on, and the fish are rising, you know right where they are, and you haven't spooked them. They're really hungry, and you throw something, it doesn't work. You switch over after a few casts, nothing works. And is that your JC who helped? It is. That is our JC. Did he say hello, Nan?
Hey, John Christopher, you're still out there.
If
Hi.
John Christopher's on here, hello. Nan, we were talking about you too, John Christopher, today. And he was like, was it the time that I tied with that other kid? I said, no, it was the other time. What's up, Less Than Civilized? But anyway, we fished for like 30, 45 minutes, and it was just aggravating. And then when we switched over to this, I'm doing a video about this, very cool. When we switched over to the emerger style first cast, Katie nailed it, and it was awesome. So we'll switch over to camera one here, and we'll show you. This is the fly we posted today. This is the size 18 version of the sulfur Klinkhamer. You can see that little red butt down there. The first one we'll probably tie is size 16, because for us, size 16s and 18s are pretty common on this style for sulfurs. You can obviously time 14s, 12s as big as you want to. But there's nothing too fancy here. Just a little buyout body, some just K-Pock dubbing for the thorax, poly yarn for the post, and some Hackle for the wings. So not a whole lot to have to get to tie this fly. So we'll switch this out and get a hook in the vise here. I'll go ahead and put this, and whoever wins, get this fly here in the box. And the hook we're going to use is this Daiichi, sorry, where are we going? This Daiichi 1167, size 16. And it's the Klinkhamer hook is designed by Hans Van Klinken himself. So,
and notice it's spelled with one M. I saw it spelled with two M's. I saw it spelled with one M, but I went with what was on the hook package.
Man, I must have missed something. What are we calling a heeny hiney ho? Heeny hiney ho. Maybe.
Maybe.
What's up, Josh Shriver? We're mainly talking and chatting on YouTube. So if you can, hop over on YouTube. What's up, Done and Done? Everyone on Instagram, we appreciate, there's not a whole lot of people on there, but we appreciate you hopping on. If you can, go over to YouTube, just do Demuth fly tying or fly fishing, and you'll see our live show going on right now on YouTube, and click on that, and you should be able to see quite a bit better. With that said, I'll zoom in for you guys here in Instagram world. We've got this. Here's the hook we have in. Well, here we go. Here's the hook we have in. It's 1167 Daiichi Klinkhamer hook. And for this first one, I'm going to tie the majority of it with 12-aught primrose thread. So it's this one right here, primrose. And we're going to bypass that hot spot because we're just going to keep this one simple. So I'm going to start the thread right here, right before I think I'm going to tie my my post in. Like I said, this is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to work the thread back up. Now, when you're wrapping a biot, you can get the biot is going to have a little bit of taper in it naturally, but I want to build up a little bit more of a taper in this body. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and build this up like so. And we're going to switch over to 18-aught once we get the posts and everything tied in. And the main reason that I'm using 12-aught now is because I like to have a little bit more bulk when I'm doing this section of it. And I'll tell you something else. What's up, Mr. Mathis? It is good to see you on here and on YouTube as well. That is awesome. We were using your beads the other day. Truman Nicholson, he came over and he had some really cool colors, and there were colors we didn't have. So we did some fancy jig flies with your beads. If y'all don't know Joe Mathis, he's the owner of Firehole Outdoors. So if you've got any Firehole hooks, that's your man right there. All right. So speaking of which, so now we're going to use a biot. Now we're using turkey biots. If you want to, if you ever have the whole feather, don't be afraid to use this side here. You don't see many people using the trailing side. Most people use the leading side. But don't be afraid to use the trailing side. They're nice and long. They're skinny. They'll work really well. Actually, we'll go ahead and do that on this one just for the fun of it. So we're going to, if you have a problem separating them, as opposed to manhandling them, let's get back here so you can see. We'll split it up like this with a bodkin. Grab it. I don't add a tippet ring, Josh. The and the main reason is I don't is because I leave the barb on and I can just tie it off there. But recently when I've been doing dry droppers, I'll tie this on a tag. So where we've been doing a lot of Euro nymphing, and I'm pretty quick at tying the dropper and the bottom fly, I just do the exact same thing. I'll have the Klinkhamer going off a 4-inch or so tag off the line, and then have the yeah, have the dropper going down that way. So the weight's pulling on the eye of the hook versus the back of the hook. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got our biot here. I'm going to bring my thread back. Now you want to bring it back a little bit more than you think, because you see I came down quite a bit, but I still have quite a bit of hook gap left there at the bottom for hooking power. So we're going to tie it in the same way we'd normally tie a biot in, with that little notch going up. And if you want to go seam or rib-less, that's totally fine. You just tie it in the other way, or just fold the biot over when you go to tie it in. So we're working our thread up. Now, just like when we're wrapping hackle and we're wrapping large quantities or packs. Oh, tippet ring. So Michael, when I believe when Josh asked about, who's Josh? When they're asking about the tippet ring, you're basically tying off a tippet ring right here. So it comes down here. So you'd have it just tied on a piece of tippet, and you tie it off, and there'd be a little ring here. And that's what you would tie your dropper on. So what I was saying is, most of the time when we'll tie it off on the back, I'll leave the barb on, and even if it's a barbless hook, I don't have too much of a problem with them sliding off. But they do slide off, and that is kind of a pain. But recently, what I've been doing is tying, just like I'm doing a double rig nymph. I've got my bottom nymph and I've got my top nymph. That top nymph's on a tag, using either a blood knot or a triple surgeon's knot, and I tie that tag in here. So I've got the tippet going here, but it's teed off somewhere else. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. All right, so we've got this wrapped up. Now I'm just going to pull my bobbin cradle over and grab this biot with my Hackle pliers. And we're just going to use the rotary vise, rotary function, bring it around. You'll see these segments are going to be just a little bit smaller. When I say a little bit, like quite a bit smaller than a normal biot's going to be. And I mean the leading edge biot. But it works just fine. If you want to put a little drop of super glue down, that's cool. But as you can see, that made a really nice body there. And if you wanted to wrap it manually, that's fine too. We ought to have Joe come on here as a special guest, one of our first YouTube special guests. We haven't worked it out yet on having live people on this venue, but hey. So I like having the ribs going out. A lot of people don't, and they'd rather have it the other way. Either way, I can tell you one thing for sure: both ways work. So whichever way you want to do it is fine. It's not a big deal. And so, all right. So now we're going to go with the post. So I've got same material, just two different colors sitting out. One is this the poly yarn in yellow, and one is a poly yarn in cream. And while Katie's got the camera on that angle, I'll go ahead and do this real quick. So what I do is, depending on the size of fly, and this is probably the most important tip or trick for the evening, is just because your material is this thick right here, that thickness is not going to work for a size 20, and it won't work for a size 10. You need to change the thickness of your fly. It doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter what method you tie this in. If you use the same method I'm going to show, or use a different method, you'll either split it up, or you'll double it up, or you'll do some different things. So what I'll typically do with my material is I'll grab it like this, just tie an overhand knot in it. And you can do it longer if you want. I mean, definitely do it longer. Just so you're not having to do this every 3 or 4 flies. We'll cut this off. So we'll move our card out of the way. And so we've got just a little hank here. It's not going anywhere. No big deal. What we're going to do is I'm going to split this off into 2 pieces. And if you start getting tangles or something in it, then you can pull. I just got this Loon metal comb here, and it works really, really, really well. But in this case, this came apart really easily. So I'm going to try to get this roughly into 2 pieces. I know for a size 16 and an 18, half of this hank doubled up is just about right for my taste. So I've got that one piece that's doubled up. I'm going to take this, I'm going to tie another overhand knot in it. And while I'm doing this, I'll tell you a funny story. If you all have seen our first YouTube video ever that we just posted, I mean, first non-live YouTube video, dude, if I'm going to be 100% honest, I was a nervous wreck doing it. I'm like, man, I've tied in front of you guys live for years, but I'm by myself tying. Katie left the room and I'm tying, and I was a nervous wreck. I was like, good grief. Why am I? If you watch when I put the Sally Hansen's on there, I was like, whoa, because because I went to put the head cement on, and I was like, whoa, my hand was shaking so bad. I didn't know why. I'm like, man, I'll tie. I had to edit out the hand. What's up, Trout Deceiver from Australia? Nice to see you hopping on here. So, Katie, let's go back to yeah, perfect. So I'm going to cut this off. So now I've essentially got 2 knots here, and one's, they're the same. My little hanks are the same thickness. And now I've got one that's perfect for this size. And if it was longer, then I could tie a whole bunch with this one piece here. But tying that knot keeps your fibers straight, keeps them aligned. And like you can see here, this is one I did earlier. This is one I've been using for a while, and it, it works fine. It makes it where you're not lose anything. What's up, Tennessee Fly Co. over on Instagram? You ought to hop over on YouTube and check us out. For anyone who is on Instagram, if you can. See you, Joe. Thanks for hopping on. It's always good to see you hopping on here. As soon as Trillion Tires, I'll watch these videos here. A trillion. That'd be nice. Oh, Ken B's in Queensland. Nice. Okay. So people on Instagram, go over on YouTube and check it out. It's a little bit better quality, and you'll see a lot more. So now, if you can see, I'm going to take my material, my post material, and I'm just going to hold roughly as much as I think I want sticking out for the post, knowing that I'm going to trim it. Knowing that I'm going to trim it, I take my thread and I just hold it like this. So as you can see, I'm just kind of holding it with my finger. And I'll take everything and I grab it like so. So now I've got the whole, you can just on top of the frame on YouTube see it, but you can see how I'm holding the material and the thread like that. So now let's switch back over to camera 1, honey. So now I'm going to take this bundle here, bring the thread over, and I'm going to lock it in place like this. Now I want to make sure it's right where I want it, not too far forward, not too far back. Now I can let go. Now, the way, and I'm going to do this a bunch of times, guys. Like I should do just a regular parachute video, but this is how I do my parachutes. So I've got basically one wrap here. Remember the rule of 3s. Makes no sense at all, but do three wraps. So I've got 1 right on top of each other, 2, 3. I'm gonna hold this tight. I'm not gonna let go of my thread. I'll pull everything up. I go 1, 2, 3. Keep my thread tight. And behind it, go 1, 2, 3. And if you want to let go of your thread now, that's fine. But I like to hold everything up and go ahead and do 3 wraps just around the bottom. 2, 3. So now that this the parachute post is locked in, the reason that you'll have parachute posts that roll around the side is because the foundation is not tight. So doing it that way, the 3s, helps out quite a bit. But a lot of my t-shirts, actually what I've got on now, or Katie, you're so
I was just answering questions over here.
Well, you just keep it up.
They said that they don't think that they've seen you wear the same t-shirt twice.
I do put a lot of thought in my t-shirts. I try.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about tell them about the t-shirts we thought about designing. Kind of funny. The ones like with the square.
You tell me something different every day.
True. Okay, so we'll go back to this. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and I'll cut it a little bit long, but not too long. And now you'll see in my fingers here, this little bit right here. There we go. That's the only waste that I've got so far. That's it. Because this right here, this piece here, I'll be able to use some more. And I just have this much waste on there.
Good job, honey.
Thank you, honey. Now I will have the waste when I trim this off, but that's okay. And I promise this doesn't take that long unless you're just talking and enjoying. And you got Truman talking about hats and Gary talking about tips and everything else. So
Truman wants me to put together a blooper reel.
Oh, I think you guys, there'd be plenty of material. That's for sure.
I think it'd be a good thing to do. We'll do a blooper reel.
Like it could start off with me messing up netting your fish last weekend.
Yeah, that would be a start.
Not that I've ever messed up netting your fish. All right, so now we're going to post this up. So I don't know if you can even see it. Now you won't be able to see in camera 3 unless it's raised. So we'll go back to the close up, and so I'm gonna hold the material, the post material in my hand. I'm gonna uncord my thread just a bit. Now I'm gonna bring it around, and I'm just going to, until it starts like the thread starts going up, I'm going to kind of pinch this up a little bit. And the thread, as you can see, is already starting to work its way up. And it'll pretty much just fall on the previous wrap, just like it's doing. Now, this is pretty thin thread. Yet another reason why I'm not doing the 18-aught yet. And you want to have even tension on this, because if you have tension that is really tight and really loose, then your post will have dents in it, and that's not good. We'll go one more, call that good. Now we'll go down, we'll inspect the post, make sure there's no bumps or anything. Now the reason we don't want there to be bumps or anything on that on the post itself is when you're wrapping hackle, if there's a big dent in here, then your hackle's not going to be straight. Now this is definitely a fishing fly, so it's not a big deal if the hackle's not perfectly straight, but it's good to like start off with it right, then start off with it crooked. So I just got a little bit, just a teeny bit of this Semperfly K-Pock, so we can get it on there, right there, and in this sulfur color, the Sulfuria. I don't know where it is. There it is. Oh, there we go. So this sulfur, pretty color. It's pretty. And I'm going to, before I do that, I need to tie a hackle in. Okay, you're going to let me do that without tying a hackle in. What color are we going to go with? Let's do this one, possibly in this. I
don't know, cream colored.
I've got a light tan done here.
Yes.
How about this one right here? So I'm going to, and usually it can be kind of difficult measuring for Klinkhamers because the hook goes down. So I try to go pretty much true to size. So if I'm tying a size 14, that's what I want as a size 14. And that's a small size 14 there. It's probably gonna be a little bit on the small side. Yep, just a little bit. So I want just a real size 14. And I was going to have this pulled for you beforehand. I decided no, I don't want to do that, because if you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my hackle, I'm measuring it, and then I put it right back on the hook and pull it around. So it's that one's close. So it's so I'm testing it. I'm not pulling it off until I know it's the right size. And if you're way off when you're looking at a saddle, if you're way off, don't go to the feather right beside it. Like change areas of the cape or the saddle, and that'll help you find there we go. Here's a big one. That should be fine. Maybe a little bit on the small side, but that's okay. All right, so now we've got our hackle pulled. All we're going to do is pull this bottom part off, just clean it up a little bit, clean the stem up. And if you want to, you can pull a few of the fibers off of one side. But when we tie this in, we'll flip back over to camera 1, please. I'm the only one learning to tie flies at the moment. Trout receiver, never been
They're discussing fly
Okay.
fishing in Australia
Okay, cool.
and where to go.
Well,
And Kenby is new to tying flies. He hasn't been fly fishing yet, but he's once he gets some flies tied, I bet he'll go.
well, you ought to trout lure. I know is in Australia, and he and Greg Lenny, can't remember.
He's in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess relatively that's close.
Don't
to
even
Australia.
say they're the same thing. You're gonna offend somebody.
No. I'm saying compared to us, that's really close to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do is cross the stem. Now I know my stem's way, way, way long right now, but I cross the stem and I've got my thread on the hook bend side of the post, make an X right there, and then I just come up and capture it. Now I can, with loosely pulled up, and look at the make sure it's the right length. Yeah, that should be somewhat right. So I just have that one wrap holding it in, and now I just bring it around. Oh, I had to grab like a 20-inch saddle feather. And I'm going to go back up. Now, these don't have to be touching wraps. It's not really a big deal. But you just want them to be even, and you want them to be smooth. That's good. Now work our way back down. Oh, throw one wrap there. Okay, so now we've got they got this tied in, and you can see here's the other side. You can see where the hackle stem goes up in the post. So I'm going to trim off just like that, a little bit longer. I'm trying to do it so you can see it, and do a couple wraps here to capture that stem off. So now we've got the hackle tied in. All we have to do now, and we'll go ahead and what the heck. I've got the same color thread, and I'm going to switch over to 18-aught. Boom, boom. There we go. So 18-aught, classic waxed. This is spider waxed.
And why are you switching?
I'm switching because I'm putting this on because it'll make the tie off behind the or under the hackle much cleaner. And the 12-aught's fine. It's not a big deal. The 12-aught will work. Really thin stuff. It's 70 denier. It's not super thin, but it's thin enough. The spider water is just a little bit thinner. The 18-aught is a little bit thinner. What's up, Matt? Mark. Sorry, Mark. It's nice on you. Yeah, watching your TV. That's right. It's like the biggest size, 16 ever.
Better than cable TV.
Better than cable TV. Dadgum. And I lost my little piece of dubbing that I had. Isn't that nice? So we'll get another piece out here. So I've got my sulfuria color K-Pop. Pull off just a pinch. Switch hands. You can see the fibers are somewhat going in the same direction. Tying off hackle clean is the most challenging part. Yep. It is. So I'm just going to start building with small pieces of dubbing. A little noodle that's probably 2 inches long or so. And I'm not trying to make it super, super, super thin. Also don't want it super, super, super thick. Okay. So I'm going to work my thread up until the dubbing starts right behind the hook eye. Now we'll go back. Before I get all the way to the post, I'll start doing crossing wraps around the post. Bring it back until I'm roughly as far back as I want to go. This needs to be nice and smooth. Let's see how we're looking so far. I might put a little bit more dubbing on. Too thick. So if you get a big clump of dubbing on like I just did, you can just grab it and grab both sides like this and kind of pull it across and then redub it. And it usually works out fine. So there's got that one little low spot there. So I'm trying to fill it in. And you'll see what I mean when you get a really long saddle feather sometimes it'd be kind of a pain to to work with ones that are too long. But you know, okay. So now we've got the thorax done, and you see it's got a nice little slight taper to it, especially when you look at it from the underside. That's what the fish are going to see. It's not huge, but it's bigger than the abdomen, and that's what we want. We just want about a third bigger. So that looks perfect. So now we've got the thread on your side of the fly. I'm going to grab the. It's not a great time to find out it's dry rotten. Ugh. Yeah, there's a few things that you just don't need to skimp. Thread's not very expensive, and unless you're like really production tying and tying a bunch, a $4 spool of thread will last a long time.
And I guess like sometimes you see thread on sale or like in a bargain bin. There's probably a reason for it, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we've got our.
But then again, we've got some cool stuff in a bargain bin too.
Well, shucks. Let's see if we can get this so we can see it. Well, I'll flip it back here so we can see it. Now I like rotating it around, but YouTube won't be able to see it, so I'll leave it. I'll leave it up. So I like rotating around. The main reason I do is when I'm wrapping, when I'm wrapping the fly, it's easier to wrap straight up and down than it is this way. And keeping the fibers and the hackle stem lined up is important. But what's more important is that you can see me wrapping the stuff. So we'll do it horizontally, but just like I just did, don't be afraid to grab your thread, grab the hook, undo your vise, rotate around, stick it in there so the post is going this way, and then you can wrap like this. Either way is fine. Finding K-Pock is favorite. Oh, there you go. I love it. It's really nice for true mayflies, for anything that has like it's not really trying to be a tractor body, not trying to be thick and heavy. I mean, you can build it up all you want to, but this is size 16. You saw how much dubbing it looked like I put on there, but it's relatively small. So with the let's go to camera 1. So right now I've got the shiny side facing down, and it's kind of cupping up. So you see the cup is actually facing you right now. So when I make this first wrap, it should, and this is just one of those things you just got to play around with Hackle. See how now it's going, that cup is going straight up. And that was just with a little bit of manipulation. That's all we wanted. So now I'm going to wrap this around like that. So you can see how I've got the first wrap in there. I have one flash out near mostly for saltwater stuff. So yep. Look up trout lure, or you're in there. I don't know. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of have the hackle feathers or the fiber not necessarily touch. Go right up beside the last one, just about like that. So you can see how that's done. Now I'm going to take the hackle feather now and bring it straight down. Take my thread. It should be on the far side. Okay, take my thread and go underneath the hackle, but on top of the stem. So I'm going under, over, under. So I've got 3 wraps. Normally I do 2, but I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So you see I've got 3 wraps there. And now I'm going to, I think I might have, nope, we're good. Now I'm going to cut. Now I haven't pulled tight yet. That's kind of important. I have not pulled tight on my thread yet. I'm going to cut the hackle out of there. And now I'm going to pull tight because that will kind of sink. That'll suck that butt end in. And you can see I've got a couple little ones here right there that could probably be plucked or something, but relatively it's looking okay. So now we're going to whip finish it, and all we do is we bring our thread back around. We grab I'm going to pull it up at an angle. We grab a thread, pull it around. Nope. put the bite of the whip finish right where I want her knot to be and go under everything, but over that hook point. I've messed plenty up by going over the hook or going under the hook point. Go over that hook point. So that's 2, 3, 4. So we just did a whip finish right there. Okay. See if we can get it.
On the
So
parachute.
right around the parachute. Now I'm going to bring that up like this. Grab the eye of the hook, pull it, snug up that whip finish, and cut it off. So now we've got our I've got that done. Both sides look fine. Now I'll grab the parachute post. What? Oh, because I didn't mess up too much. So we're cut it off. Now I try to cut it a little bit long because you can always cut it shorter, and I can't tell you how many I've cut and they've been too short. I'm like, dang it, there, because it's really hard to stretch this and make it longer. And finally, I'm gonna do a little Hallie Hansen's, little Sally Hansen's.
Hallie Hansen.
And just put like a little drop right here.
Don't shake.
No shaking here. Just a drop, and we'll let it just kind of sit there. And then I'll kind of hold it upside down because you can maybe see the bottom edge of that. And it's just soaking into the post, the stems, everything. It'll lock it in place, and that's good. What's up, Joe Jackson over on Instagram? Hope you're doing well. You ought to come over and join us on YouTube. You can see a little bit better, and
Gary says,
everything's
way
fine.
to bang that fly out.
Man, we're banging tonight.
We're
going, since we started late, we'll try to do one more real quick with that red spot. So like I said, if you pluck that out right there, that'd be an all right looking fly. So we'll stick it in our little cup. That'll go in the box for whoever wins, and we'll throw a size 18 in. And watch, I won't be able to find the darn size 18 hooks. Here we go. All right, we'll go with the size 18, but we're going to do one slight variation. So put the hook in the vise, like so. Thank you. Did my mic? Oh, Chris said, did Katie's mic stop working?
Sorry, I had it turned off. She's
like, girl, on purpose.
Well, sometimes I worry if I'm drinking my water or something, I have to leave it turned on, that like you guys will hear like, well, like in the background.
We don't want to hear that.
So I turn it on and off, but sorry, I forget to turn it back on.
All right, so I'm switching out that 12-aught primrose with 12-aught fluorescent red. So you can see here, I'm just going to stick the cut in there, get it going, suck it through, pop it out, untwist it. All right, so now we're good to go. So we're going to do the same thing on this 18. Wait, what? Yep, TDO Junior. Check us out on YouTube. Just you can look in our story, and we posted the link, but just go on YouTube and search for Demuth Fly Fishing, and you'll find it. We're live right there on YouTube right now. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this bright orange thread. I'm going to go down all the way to where I want the bottom of the fly to be, which is roughly there. And I'm going to come back up about 3 or 4 wraps and then go down. This is 12-aught, so it's still not very thick at all. And Keisha, I think you were saying that finishing the parachute post was the most important part. And as a tip or as a trick, if you will make sure you cord up your thread, not so much that you're not going to be able to, like when you do the whip finish, it'll tangle up. But if you cord up your thread, that will make the wraps thinner and make it to where you don't have that collar in between the dubbing, or not as much of a collar in between the dubbing and the hackle. So now I'm going to build up my base with this bright orange. And this will slightly change the color of that biot. I'm not too worried about that because I've got other ones that didn't do it. And if you want to, you can just change the thread again and go back to 12-aught, but I don't really want to go through that right now. So there we go. Remember, this is a size 18, so we don't have to build up a huge underbody or a huge taper. Now I'm going to pull out my buyout again, and this time we're going to pull from the leading edge. So pull it off. We're still going to wrap it the same way. I like to run the buyouts once through my material moistener that we have on the desk here. Thank you, Keisha. Now, the one thing to watch out for if you do that is don't cord it up too much, because we've all corded our thread up too much, or had our thread corded up when we're doing a whip finish, and it just frays on us. So careful with that. Okay, I'll go back down one more time because I don't like that. Just trying to even the body out. Okay. All right, so we've got our body made. Now we're going to grab, once again, with the Hackle pliers, like so. Oh. Okay, we'll do this out of order here. Right. Okay. Remember, this is that red is like a hot spot. It's not anything fancy. It's not supposed to be it does not need to be big. It's fluorescent orange. And if you look, when I put a UV light on it, it is plenty bright. We'll end with it here. Pull this tight. Now, another tip when you're tying buyouts off is be careful when you're cutting this piece off here, because I know Chris has seen me do it. And Trout Deceiver, if you and Ken watch enough, you'll see me do it. I might do it right now. But when you cut this off here, be really careful that you've pulled your thread tight. And when you cross your thread over right here, that's pulled somewhat tight and it's not up top, because you will cut your thread when you're doing that, making that cut. Guaranteed. That means guaranteed in East Tennessee. Promise you. Okay. So now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to go and whip finish this. Let's pull the reel up and have this on my TV and glass of bourbon. That's what I'm talking about, Mark. That's what I'm talking about. So, what I said I forgot, so you can see that, there you go. Can you see how bright that, it's not showing up super good on the, yeah, you can see that bottom part there, that it's just glowing. The body itself is not, but the front, where I'm going to cover up in a minute, and that bottom part is really glowing. So here you could put a little bit of UV resin on, or you could put Sally Hansen's on, put whatever you want. But I like this, the Gulf Thin Man here, because I'm really not trying to do a whole bunch. I can just put a drop right here. And then I can take my, and I meant to do this before I started wrapping the buyout. Bring it around. There we go. Looks fine. Now we'll cure it. And that's it. I can add resin for durability. Do you ever fish? I would probably, as opposed to using resin, Keisha, I would just put a drop of super glue on, like put a little run of super glue up the back of it. You don't have to cover the whole hook. Just enough super glue so it's got something to stick to. And then you can wrap it either way. It doesn't matter which way you wrap it. There's nothing at all wrong with the way you're wrapping it. That's fine. But if you put super glue on the hook shank and then wrap it, it sticks it, and it's not going anywhere. For me, I don't care if this gets torn up, but for me, I catch 4 or 5 fish, and I'm good. So I don't have them tear up that much. But then again, the point I'm trying to make is I'm not catching 40 or 50 fish on the fly and like mad that it tears up. Like if I can get 4 or 5 fish on the fly, I've only got about 1,000 more in my bag, so I'm good. And I'm not selling flies, so my flies don't have a lifetime warranty or anything. It's okay. So now we're going to go to back to the 18-aught. So I'm going to show you. It does take a little bit longer on the hook shank or on the post. So now I'm going to go to this one in yellow. And this piece is a little bit more ratty, but that's okay. The same thing we did before. Got my parachute post material. Remember the threes. We'll hold our material like so. Pinch it, bring it around, set it right where we want. Now, the reason I like doing this is because your thorax is so small. I'm sorry you can't see that. We've got some new lights coming tomorrow or sometime for Katie's birthday. Oh, by the way, Katie's birthday is coming up in a couple days. It's Monday, just in case anyone wants to say happy birthday on Monday. But
you're blocking the light.
I know. That's why I just said we're going to work on our lighting. I can't do much with it right now. Oh boy, Misha just came in. Okay, so now
she looks so pleased with herself.
She just broke in. Okay, so I've got my one wrap in here. So I like being able to do it that way because when I'm holding it up, I can place the post right where I want it.
Misha.
Oh, I've got a dog right here. Right
Misha, come here.
So that's 3 wraps. Pull this up. 1, 2, 3. Behind it, 1,
Misha.
2, 3. I wish you could see Misha. There's cords dang everywhere. 1, 2, 3. I've tried a couple of these before,
Misha,
so I can do this.
doing?
Yeah. There she is. There she goes. So you see all the junk around. So
what are you doing?
It's
Get your head in the trash can.
Of course she does. She usually puts it in my waste basket over here with all the furs and stuff. Yes, it is. It is Katie's birthday, September 26th. So we're actually talking with Beargrass Leather about making her a nice fancy jacket. Like, what's her name, honey? Claire.
Beth Dutton.
Beth Dutton. We gotta get her Beth Dutton's jacket. It's kind of expensive. They said that one was like $1,500. I was like, oh, well,
it doesn't have to be.
Does she have like a poncho or something? Anyway, okay. So we've got the post tied in here. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to bring it up, and I'll try to keep my hand out of the way so it's a good enough angle. You see, this is going to take more wraps because the thread is thin. But like I said, this is kind of how quick it should go. Like, you really shouldn't have to do it too much. Yeah, maybe not too much. Shouldn't have to take a whole bunch of time with this because you're you're just wrapping hackle or wrapping thread. Don't overthink it.
Are you so proud of yourself?
She is. She's like, Mama,
so proud.
you made it in. Now Katie is laying on the floor watching. Did you lose Freddie? Can you all not hear me? Misha might have pulled something off. Can you all hear me? Gary, can you hear me? Okay. We're back. All right, cool. So I've got my my hackle stem here. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to orient the way we want it. Make sure that the thread is on the hook point side of the post. Hold it at an angle or hold it like make an X. Cross it over. Now we'll pull it up till it's right length. Now we'll just bring it around like so. And this is, like I said, I'd say today, Katie will tell me to quit saying, like I said.
No, you say.
Like so.
Like so.
That's what you told me not to ever say again. Like so. Like,
all right. Now you just overuse it.
Yeah, well, I'm not overusing it now. Girl, don't worry about me. I'll listen. Okay. So we got that tied in. We're going to throw a little dubbing on. We'll try this one a little bit quicker. And I really wish that I could do this the normal way. But want you all to see it. It's kind of like writing your name when they tell you, you know how to write it. But if they ask you to write it backwards, you could write your name backwards, but it wouldn't quite be the same. And when I learned to tie parachutes, I did it just like I'm showing you right now without moving the hook. But and you guys probably saw me switch it over. Was that about 4 years ago on the show? I was like, let's try it this way. I don't know who I saw. It was not me that did it first. But anyway, you really do make those posts look easy. Well, I've done a couple of them, and thank you. They are. So my stepdad's got a good saying. He says, "Flying to the moon is easy if you know what you're doing." So remember that. This is really easy if you practice and you know what you're doing. I know it sounds silly, but it's kind of truth. Always when you're building this part of your body, see I've got that big, I mean, you're looking at the side I'm not looking at. So see that big gap there? I want to make sure I'll look at that side and I fill that up really nicely. Just like that. Because I don't want to miss out on anything. That's good. Maybe a touch too much, but that'll be fine. Okay, so now we got our nice taper in there. The big thing is the bottom. Looking at it from the bottom side, like that. If I got rid of this, you'll see it a little better. See, I've got the nice little taper, and then we got it coming up. That's exactly what we want. So when we're done wrapping and dubbing, we'll do one wrap all the way around like this. Now we'll pull our hackle down again. This is a short one. And this came off of that cape that's sitting here behind me. And this is, I think y'all made fun of me about doing this for a while back. This is where you stick your tongue out and you're like, yep. How you hold your mouth is important.
How are you holding your mouth?
Kind of with my tongue sticking out a little bit. Okay, so that's about right, like that. So now when we tie this off, take our thread, go over the hook eye, but under everything, then over the hackle stem and under everything. 2, 3. Now we'll cut this off. Is this where you might breathe really good? Okay. Now when we wrap that, when we're in right now, I can probably readjust this a little bit. When we put our wraps of thread right here, right in between the hackle and the thorax, the dubbing, that if there's fibers that, see right now there's no fibers going down, except maybe there's one like going straight down right there. So yeah, that one's broken off. When we're wrapping our thread, if you go underneath everything, a lot of times that'll push the hackle fibers back up, and that makes it look a little bit better. But really, the fish aren't going to care if there's a couple fibers going down. But I'm the world's worst when it comes to making them perfect. You know, those of y'all that have seen us for the past few years know that we used to be like like we would tie stuff, strip the hackle, make it absolutely perfect where every single stem, every fiber was going correct. And that's fine. That is totally cool.
But you learn along the way.
I became a lot better fly tyer doing that, making sure everything was perfect. So now we're going to cut that off. And you can see what we've got now. Got the fly. This is looking good. We'll go ahead and cut off our parachute, trim it up like so. And we've got that looking like that. So, okay, you want to go back to camera 1? I don't know if you can see the fly. Like there. There we go. So I've got that. We got that done. So we got a nice little red hot butt on that one. Nice little thorax, body, a little Klinkhamer action. Oh, and we'll do our last thing, which is a little Sally Hansen's right there, just a drop of it. And I'll probably do a standalone video of this. This is a tip from Tim Flagler that he told us at the, you can go back to this other one, that he told us at the symposium a few years ago, is the Sally Hansen's, if you just get like 99% pure alcohol, rubbing alcohol, You can put that in here to thin it out, and it works great. So, guys, if you have if you see anything you liked, if you don't already, anyway, if you learned a little something, we'd really appreciate you all subscribing. If you got any value at all out of this, thank you, Jeff and Freddie. Appreciate that very much. For the challenge for next week, so we're going to give away this box with the 2 flies that we tied tonight and the 3 flies that we tied this week to post. And I'll tie another, so there'll be at least half a dozen Klinkhamers in here. Yep, trigger point are good as well, Jimmy. Absolutely. So you'll get this box. Congratulations to Keisha and Katie when she'll show the box, and congratulate her as well.
I'll have to let you show it.
Congratulations, Keisha, for winning this awesome Umpqua box with some scuds, the Utah killer bugs. So you got about 10 or 12 in there. So those will be shipped out to you probably tomorrow. But to win, comment on this video. Last week we said comment, and if you guessed Klinkhamer or merger or something, we put your name in the hat. This time, comment on the video, and you can guess what this is going to be. If you're wrong, you'll still be in. So if we've got elk hair, we've got dry fly hackle, we've got a dry fly hook, we've got beaver dubbing, and thread and wire. Those are your thing. The color is probably going to be like a rusty orange, rusty spinner. So guess what it's going to be. But the caveat is, if you post a Klinkhamer and use hashtag Whip Finish Wednesday, you're in on the giveaway. If you comment on the video and you're right or wrong, you're in the giveaway. If you comment, that this is obviously going to be whatever, like make some I can't even think of the name of it.
A dry fly.
A dry fly. You can say that's going to be a squirmy wormy. That's fine. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. Hopefully we'll get to 200 subscribers by the end of the week, or by the end of by our next video. So I appreciate everyone that shared out our YouTube videos and our our channel itself. You guys are awesome, and all the cool questions that we get, and helping you all out is really what keeps us going. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing everyone next Wednesday night. And with that said, thank you, Mark and Trout Deceiver. Thank you very, very much. Keisha, thank you. And Keisha, don't be hesitant to post your Klinkhamer or chat on the comments either. With that being said, thanks, guys. I'm going to turn it over to Katie. Let her take us out.
I'm going to say have a great night, guys, from where I am. My battery went dead on my GoPro camera. So
there we go.
Have a great night.
All right, we'll see you guys
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.